What happened yesterday was a sideways slip, what we call strike slip, probably along an east-west fault. We know that from the seismic focal mechanism that has already been published by the United States Geological Survey. So what happened was that there was a slip along a particular fault. The northern block, it was a vertical fault or near vertical fault, and the northern block moved about 10 centimeters to the east. And that is consistent with the way southern Africa is being pulled apart by the forces associated with the southern part of the East African Rift System. So that's what happened. It was about 10,000 times larger than the average mine tremor, which is about a magnitude 2.5, 3.
So, Chris, if we continue to experience things like this, and you're using very scary words like pulling apart and all of that, does it? What could happen to our sort of the ground under us in probably years, decades from now?
Well, in the longer term, we are being rifted essentially in this part of the world, although and parts are being sheared past each other. That's what happened in the Ceres area. You can think of the western side of Africa and the eastern side of Africa. We call them the Nubia Plate and the Somalia Plate, as pivoting around a point somewhere off in the Southwest Indian Ocean to the south of us. And so further south of us, those two plates are being forced together. And so one might expect very powerful earthquakes out in the ocean in that area. But in South Africa, the TrigNet system shows us that the internal rates, the so-called intraplate rates of motion, are not more than about 0.5 millimeter a year. So in other words, to build up something like 10 centimeters of strain along a particular fault, it takes at least a few hundred years. And so this is all going on very, very slowly, but at the same time, it is quite an inexorable process. It's going to go on. And then the important thing is that activities such as mining, particularly deep mining, which disturb the stress field in these highly stressed areas, can then trigger quite large events. And that's what happened yesterday. The event, the focus of it was probably down well below the mining area, probably at around about 10, 12 kilometers. But the overall, over the last 50 or so years, the forces associated with the mining tremors and the transfer of strain from the release of strain in the shallow areas and its transfer into the deeper areas has triggered a large earthquake, and it was waiting to happen at some stage, but in some way the human intervention in the form of mining brought it forward. You can think of it in that way.
You deserve to know more.
eNCA.com